Holla holla, your boy, George Billionaire. In the building, doing what I do every single day. What it is what it is. But I'm so grateful of this day that the Lord has made. I shall clearly rejoice and be glad in it. So every single Monday, you know what we're doing. You know where we're going right now. We're on our way to Hustle Hard. Hustle Hard. The thing about Hustle Hard, we've been doing it for 2 years on, and it's amazing the amount of people it's reached. If you haven't watched any of the Hustle Hard series, make sure you click on the notification bell and subscribe to the channel right there. Do it now, and be able to see all of the Hustle Hard series we've done, all of the school run diaries we've done, so many things we've done, and all these are to provoke, inspire, and equip. Warning, please note, if you keep listening and watching this channel, I can guarantee you that you will not be the same. You will be transformed to being the person that God purposed you to be. Today on Hustle Hard, we're going to be talking about an ego. The thing that an ego has, which all other animals do not have as much of. And that thing is this. It's called focus. Why an ego is deemed to be one of the, in fact, it is the king of its kingdom. It's because of its laser focus. When it wants something, it focuses. So today we're going to be talking about focus. What are you focusing on? Whatever you focus on grows. Whatever you are doing consistently with laser focus definitely will grow. If you're not growing, I can guarantee you're not focusing. Hustle hard. Let's go.
Let's focus is the topic today. And holla holla.
Holla holla.
It's your boy.
It's your boy, George Billionaire with Just Precious. And as always, what an amazing place to be at right now to everybody who's tuned in.
It's nice to be here.
True, it is. Raganaka Kuapano for sure on Capital 100.4 FM. Harare's heartbeat with all the pulsars listening to us from the north to the south, to the far east, and to the west. And here we are again on this show. Our mandate is to do three things. Is to provoke. Yes, if you're not provoked by the end of this show, we would have not done exactly what we were supposed to do. You're supposed to be provoked. Secondly, you're supposed to be inspired. Right? You got to get some form of inspiration from what we give you. And thirdly, but most importantly, you need to be equipped.
True.
So if you become provoked, inspired, and equipped, the thing you should do after getting this information that we've been giving here on Capitalk for so many years, you need to act upon what it is that you hear. There's no way you can remain the same, be the same person, your life not changing. People who listen to this show, I can guarantee you, do not suffer from the horrible disease called excusatitis. Making excuses, blaming the government, blaming the economy. People who listen to the show don't do that. People here make a plan because the sun has rose today on everybody and it will set on everybody. But the most important thing is what we do with our time, and most importantly, the information that we get and how we apply it to make money. Everybody who's listening needs this basic commodity called money to survive.
True.
And when you have a lack of information, which is what we're going to be talking about today, it will pass by you very quickly. And there are people in this same economy who are striving, making money, who are not complaining, who are not blaming the currency. And we're at a place where excuses sound easier to make than doing what is called self-retrospect. Because I don't remember the last time your complaints paid your school fees, your rentals, bought you a loaf of bread. But to he or she who says, listen, this is happening to the most of us, let me make a plan. What can I do? And I love countries like the one we live in here and so many other countries in the world. There are so many problems in the world today. the problems we think we have in Zimbabwe, go to South Africa and see. They are actually complaining, our neighbors, that Zimbabweans are coming to get our jobs. We are hungry to work, and where their work ethic is not there, right? There's a problem with electricity, not only here in the country, but many places around the world.
Sure.
But all these, water, electricity, roads, lack of education, all these are opportunities for somebody to rise up and actually create a solution. So we need to really become like what the scripture in the Bible says in Romans 8:28. It says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." And when we do that, we will not continuously make the same excuses, blame everybody else.
True.
But the most important person we should blame is us. To say, you know what, I have a family, I have a household, I have a life to live. What am I going to do? So today we're really going to be talking about information. And this is what has set so many people apart from being ordinary to being great.
Yes, and you I love how you say information is power, so let's focus.
Let's focus, that's
Which
right.
means without focusing, you can have the information, but if you don't focus on it, you will not get to where you want to get, right?
That's correct.
Uh-huh.
The most, people in this day and age lack a simple thing called focus.
True.
They don't have. They don't know where they're going. They don't have a vision for life. They don't have a plan. And the most dangerous person on planet Earth is somebody who doesn't know where they're going. There are people today who are waiting. We spoke about it before elections. They were waiting for elections to happen so that they can begin to start plowing, start a business, start investing.
True.
But if you don't have specific focus on what you want to achieve in life, this life you're going to live, like I've said so many times, and maybe to somebody who is listening to this for the very first time, you're going to get a replay of what your life could have been when you go to heaven. And you're going to be shown all the excuses,
That you made.
all the reasons. There were 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 elections that came by, and you were still waiting for the perfect time to plant a seed. And nothing ever germinated because of your excuses, because you were waiting for the perfect time. Presidents will come and go, but one thing that's definitely moving is your life. And when you lack that self-retrospect, taking time to analyze that, wait, there's so much happening. You're up to date with all the hungas, the guas that are happening around, the social media stories, everything. But pertaining things that are going to take care of your family, yourself as an individual, you're not focusing on those.
True.
But you are now pedaling in a boat where everybody else is saying things, and that's your story every day. And when we say, information is power, where are you getting your information from? Because in this day and age, you'll find that people are only where they are today because of the sum total result of the information they have been exposed to. Where you are today, listening to me today, is because of the information that you have gotten.
True.
Now, this weekend, I was around some very wise, successful entrepreneurs, millionaires, multi-millionaires here in the country of Zimbabwe. And I love the conversations that were going around the table. There was no conversations of he say, she saying. There's no belittling. There's no, everything that's being spoken about is edifying. It's about money. It's about growing. It's about, I know this person. If you need this, I can assist. Let's come together. Let's form an allegiance. And that type of information is what other people who may not be around specific individuals get. And I love the quote that says, if you are an individual who walks and does not have a car, if you hang around with people who are riding bicycles, sooner than later, you too are going to also,
Right of us.
correct? If you hang around with people who are just on the job, just over broke, they have one source of income, and that's your circle of influence. Sooner than later, you also will become just like them, right? If you hang around with entrepreneurs, millionaires, billionaires, whether you like it or not, there will come a point in time where they will say, listen, George, what is it that we can do to support you directly? Why don't you start something out of all these millionaire friends you have? Start a business that we can support you, that can directly benefit your pocket. You will soon also become an entrepreneur. So when all the information the people listening to us today are getting is from low, poor quality, people who don't believe in themselves, low-minded people who don't have any great ambitions, who staying and renting a house, their whole life is an achievement, you're also going to become like that. So information is powerful, and it determines where people go. Now, there's so much information around these days of so many things. If you pick up your phone, there's so much information you're digesting. Some of it could be productive, and most of the time, most of it is unproductive. But when you decide to have a laser focus, I love the bird, the king of the bird kingdom called an eagle. And what the eagle is specifically known for is its laser focus on being able to do what other birds cannot do. They see things from far away, and when they focus, even if they're in the sky, they will see a fish in the middle of an ocean and dive deep down and not be distracted by anything and get that thing. And this is what we need to do with our lives today. We get information, we focus on that information that we get, and there's no way that somebody who focuses on information cannot be identified by doing a specific thing. You know, the people I was with this weekend, we were talking about how long they've been in business and how they focused. Some are in agriculture, some are in mining, some are in real estate. I'm into air conditioning. And it's amazing, the things we were talking about were all about laser focus and how they surrounded themselves with those who were in gold mining, and they got the information, they focused on it, and it took them 10, 15 years of learning, and now they are great in this. Same with farming, same with real estate, same with me with air conditioning. It's been many years. But with you where you are today, because of your information that you have amassed over the years and that you have focused on, what is it that people can actually identify you with? What is it that people say, wow, Precious is a guru in this fraternity? If you want air conditioning with 5-year warranty, go to George at Pro Air. If you want to get some good food, go to this specific restaurant. But people, because they have not wanted to digest the information they have gotten, and they have not focused on something, they are not known for a specific task. I remember a time I said, when you mention the name my Dr. Rebecca Chisamba, you obviously see a talk show host. When I mention Dr. Strive Masiwa, there's something you see.
True.
When I mention Philip Mataranyika, Ken Sharp, you know, I could go on. You know, all these people have had information in their trades that they are doing, and they focused, which is why now they are household names, because if I cannot know, I need to work on this thing that I've decided to do and monetize it. And now look at what they're doing. They are all prospering, be it real estate, be it their talk show, be it their business. So when we as a people decide to understand that this quote, information is power, especially when it is applied and used and you have laser focus. People in this day and age are consuming all sorts of things. You know, I'm one person who says, first thing in the morning, I'm not one to quickly turn on the TV and watch news. Yes, it's information, but most of the time news is not good information.
True.
Right? It's always negatives, fatalities, this, that, and the other. But as an individual in your trade, you have to be such a consumer, be a sponge of information and use it, especially in something that you're good at. There are many people out there who come up with this thing that, no, George, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. I know there's so many people who say that. And it's true to a certain extent. But I can tell you there was nobody who was born an entrepreneur. They were made due to circumstances.
True.
They were made also due to the type of information they got. For George, who's talking today, to become an entrepreneur, he got certain information from people. He hung around with certain people who fed him belief that, listen, George, all things are possible. All you have to do is to believe. I also started like you, and look at where I am. So the life that we live today is the sum total result of the information you're getting, the type of people you are hanging around. You know, just Precious, I cannot emphasize how the quality of people you hang around with matters. I cannot. There's a quote by Jim Rohn which says, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Who are your friends? Who speaks into your life? Are your friends also murmuring and complaining? And if they are, no wonder why we are in a situation where we also want to join the complaining and murmuring band. And in any country, you'll always have the poor. I love the Bible. It says, the poor you shall always have.
True.
No matter what. If the president of the country of Zimbabwe gave everybody $1 million today,
There will still be the poor.
within a year, you will see the money will go back to the same hands. And the people, because of a lack of mindset shift, there has to be a paradigm, a change of mindset in individuals by the amount of information they are consuming. People today are used to being given things. They think, no, if I just get a piece of land from the president, I'm going to be okay. You will get it, but are you going to utilize it to be able to make money? There are people who say, no, I don't have capital, George. If I just get $10,000. This country did it before when we wanted to empower the youth and we gave so many people loans. But without mentorship, without proper information of what it is that you want to do, you know, the things you need to look at investing in first, without that information, we're going to go back to the place that we began at. And that's going to lead us back to even a far worse off place than you were, than you had not gotten it before. So to people out there, we really need to get information. We really need to surround ourselves with people who are giving us some form of light. I love the person I was speaking to this weekend, and it's amazing to see people in Zimbabwe doing amazing strides. You know, right now there are so many people complaining, and it's either no Akaba, no, there's some political alliance, but behind it all, there's serious work ethic being done by people in various places of the country of Zimbabwe. You see people building. I think if you travel around, you'll always have a mass of people who are always complaining.
True.
And it's a lot of them. It's okay. It's understood. They want, listen, the government has to create this, that, and the other. You know, I take a perfect example of one of the greatest entrepreneurs in this country of Zimbabwe, you know, Dr. Strive Masiwa, amongst others who have done great things. Just him alone employs multitudes of people, right?
Yes.
A lot of people are working today because somebody came up with a business like he did. So that same thing is possible to so many other people out there. But what you need to do is, there's a difference. And you know, I've read his story, I've read his interviews. He used to work for the Post and Telecommunication Company before, and he was inspired to say, listen, I see a problem here. And this is what I tell people: if you identify problems, you will not be poor. If you can identify, wait, there's a problem here. And you know, our abbreviation for the word poor is passing of opportunities regularly. If you are somebody who sees problems and you say, wait a minute, let me research, how can I fix the issue of lack of water. Okay, let me start something. Let me start water purification. The city council water comes. Let me come up with a purification thing that people can drink this water with reverse osmosis, and I sell this to every household in the country. With the 15, 17 million people in Zimbabwe, instantly you'll become wealthy. But if you're always blaming the city council, and if you're not providing a solution, because a problem is an opportunity to one who sees.
True.
But if you're somebody who does not see an opportunity, and to all successful entrepreneurs, to people listening to me today, when you see something that's a problem, it's either you have the opportunity to provide the solution or to remain somebody who's complaining. And to somebody who provides that solution, I get a haircut every week, right?
Yes.
That's somebody providing a solution for me, and in exchange I give them money, correct? I need my car washed every other day. There's somebody who does that, and I pay for that. There are ladies who need to get makeup, who need to buy hem. All those are problems that somebody identified. And if you identify it, people will exchange money for your creating a solution for it. That's basically business. There are people in farming who get tomatoes from down there from the farmers.
True.
At $1 a crate. But when it's here in Harare, it's being sold for $3. All they are doing is the logistics. They are not farming, they're just transporting. They have never planted their whole lives. But what are they doing? They found a market, they found the demand, and then they come in between and they create a solution for the farmers who have it, but they don't have the market. So information is power. When you decide to focus, you will become a person who you will no longer, and I keep emphasizing this to people out there, that when you go and you are replayed that video of what you could have been, some of you will dread that I listened to Hustle Hard. I was told these things, but I was too stubborn. I did not want to change my mindset. I was just relying on my job, which for sure led me to be just over broke my whole life. I've never traveled on holiday because my mindset was so closed up to thinking, no, I can't do anything else. And this is what happens with people. And you know what I love about the human mind? It's a sponge. Whatever your mind is exposed to, it grows.
True.
You know, this weekend with where I was, I think I tell people this. I'm somebody who's very well exposed. But there are certain individuals who I visited this weekend. And when you see the lifestyle that others are living in the same place that you are in, and you don't become provoked, there'll be something wrong with you.
True.
I think I've said it, Kuti. You don't know how poor you are until you go to a rich man's house. I've said this many times. And some of us need to get not envious or jealous, but we need to find out, Precious, what did you do? And you'll see with everything, after it being said and done, there's nobody, especially in Africa, where there's this myth that there's something that vomits money out and people become, you know, every morning there are thousands and millions of... No. Hard work. When others are sleeping, there are others during the same 24 hours that you have who are working, because they know that, listen, for me to be able to become great, successful, financially independent, I need to stop talking and I need to start doing. One of my mentors always tells me, don't tell me what you want to do, show me. Because the talk is cheap. People want to talk, I want to do this, that and the other. There are many people who say, I want to start a business. Why don't you start and show us than to talk too much?
True.
Because talk does not yield any results. It doesn't. And like I've said in the beginning, this murmuring and complaining we are doing, remember, at the end of the month, at the beginning of a school term, there are people who need to be paid for the services they render to you. And the only language that people understand is money.
True.
And if you're not doing something that creates some form of inflow of money to come to you, you're going to be in a very horrible state. And as much as people out there will say, George, there are no jobs, George, the economy is tough, George, there's so much happening you don't understand. This is not just happening to you, it's happening to everybody. But the difference is that there are people who are seeing opportunities. It may seem like they're not successful today, but they are putting a little on a little, and sooner than later, they will become successful, financially independent, and make money. And I've been in business with Pro Air for 13 years now. And what people think is that success happens overnight. They think you become a billionaire over 10 years, 20 years. If we look at some of the billionaires we have in Africa, it took them some time. Consistency, laser-like focus, focusing on their craft, working hard day and night in silence. All you see are the results until they've made these big brands. But to some of us listening today, we think, 3 months, ningendatone big, now to tenga motor new and I'm successful, people are gonna see me. That's not success. Success is the long game. It's about putting in a little on a little. This is what I've learned from the many mentors I have. And you'll find that they've been in business for 20 years. How many of us today, some of us, especially Zimbabweans, whatever starts, if you see Rebero you run, you're there, you're doing that. The next thing, selling phones. The next thing, you're selling, you're into everything.
True.
And the quote, Yokuti, do not be a jack of all trades and a master of none.
Yeah.
That's why people don't make it in life, because you want to be so many things. But if you get the information to say, listen, I want to focus on air conditioning. I want to know air conditioning in and out. I want to understand the multi-V system, the VRV. I want to understand the whole HVAC sector and focus on that. When an opportunity comes my way pertaining that, because I've gotten the information, I've focused, I've learnt about it, that will then give me the return on that which I have focused on. But wanting to master everything, it will not aid you in anything, and you will not grow as an individual.
There's a question on the WhatsApp platform. Tapiwa says, how do I navigate information overload, and what strategies do I use to stay informed?
Right, brilliant question. Information is too much of it in this modern day and age. And this is where I gave the example of an eagle. An eagle knows what it wants. Even when you see a lion hunting, it does not focus on the whole herd. It keeps its eye on one thing, on that one fish. And it comes with lightning speed from the sky. A lion creeps very close to the animal to save its energy, because it cannot run that fast, and it executes. So with that question, you need to know what you want to be in life. I'm one person who, I love entrepreneurs. I love the air conditioning sector. I'm a speaker in my own regard. I want to mentor so many people. So there's specific things that I consume that have to do with what I want to learn. So when you identify what you want to be, focus specifically on that. If you want to do agriculture, mining, logistics, focus on information pertaining that. Understand, how is it that Just Precious runs a show between 12 to 3? What does she do? Learn, see the live, see the glitches, see the things, and then learn from that. So there's too much information out there. And we're so privileged to be in a generation where all it is just a click, and you can consume whatever you want pertaining any sector or industry. Which is why I think that this generation has become, with the privilege of the internet that's there, the old school people used to go to the libraries to read books. And if that book was out that week, you had to wait for it to be returned, for you then to read that book. But you'll find the older generation people are far much more wiser. We now have PDF books that we read on our phones. But look at our generation. Can you read a book on your phone? You can't, because some other notification will come and you're distracted. And you're not. So I would say to him, focus on what you're good at, what you want to be, and learn as much as you can in that regard. And most importantly, you need to apply what you learn. I can't keep emphasizing that lack of application of knowledge. There's a quote that says knowledge is power.
Yes.
That's the biggest lie ever said, right? Knowledge is not power unless it is applied. So we can all hear the same word, like everybody who's listening to us today. But if you don't apply,
And you're wasting your time.
Zvango found out you never listened to the show.
True.
You were just listening for entertainment. But when you then take that seed out of your pocket and you put it into the ground, that is now application. You are going to see a difference that, wait, this thing is beginning to germinate. There's something happening. After 6 months, wait a minute, Patobudaga, this is growing. But to he who never planted the seed, or tried at least, there's nothing that will happen, because they did not do what is the most important thing, is to apply the information that they got.
All right. It is 4 minutes to 1, and we have to conclude. What do you have to say as we close the conversation?
All right. So I would say to people out there, the most important thing is that this life is yours, and where you're going to end up is solely and utmostly responsibly your decision. So there's nobody who is coming to rescue you. There's nobody who's going to come and help you. You cannot continue blaming everybody else. If you are to look in the mirror and you are to see the person you're looking at, that individual is responsible for where you're going to end up. So let's leave this complaining, murmuring, and let's begin to self-educate. I love people who read books. When you read a book, it's like taking your mind to the gym. Work on becoming a better person. Learn something new. Become like a sponge. A sponge, if it's put in water, it absorbs that. And if I can tell a lot of people who are listening to us, the type of water you are hanging around is contaminated. It's full of excuses. Hang around with people who will put some wood in your fire, who will encourage you, who will push you to become a better person, who are not making excuses.
True.
You know, I tell people, if you look at your contact list and there's nobody in there who inspires you, who provokes you, you're hanging around with the wrong people.
True.
Go to people who are there to do what we are doing now, provoking you, making you look at your life and say, hey, I've been at the same house, I'm sleeping in the same bed, I'm living the same lifestyle. I haven't changed the phone in 5-6 years. There are certain things which are not changing. Why? Because you are hanging around the same people. But when you hang with others, they'll push you to say, Precious, this is not your life.
True.
You need to upgrade your life. You can't keep doing the same things and expecting different results. Come, let me show you how I did it. When you get that type of information and you begin to apply it, I can guarantee you that you will become a far different and better person. The purpose of our show, like we keep saying, is we want people to be transformed. And transformation begins with your mindset. And if we can't change your mind, I can guarantee you we can never change your life.
All right, it is Capital 100.4 from Radio's Heartbeat. We'll catch you next week, George.